Bangalore has been very different to probably Delhi and Mumbai and Chennai. We started with the lockdown with everybody, but probably because of the number of cases which were there, we kind of opened back in June on June 8th. However, this hotel continued to remain operational. So we had certain long stay guests who stayed in the hotel, so we didn't shut the hotel completely. And we continued to make it sure that, the people who were in the hotel continued to be looked after. And of course, there was a set of team which was put into place, which was, which spent the majority of the month of April and May with that team. While, the business really slowed down and it didn't really make sense for us to operate restaurants. And of course, the government regulations didn't really allow us to, open things and keep doing things with the guests. We made it very customized and very, it was open to the guests and the team. We had times when the guests would, of course, whether it's in terms of their, the food becomes a very important part, and the chef was in direct touch, whatever they wish to do. But just to keep the team motivated, we would have cricket matches here, and the guests would be joining them, would join those people, because those are the people who were stuck in the hotel, completely away from the guests, away from the outside world, so completely like a, followed by the time when we really opened. So on the June 8th, we thought that, now things are opening up and, things will start looking better. It was quite a strange thing, because there were, the few of the guests who really wanted to come in, and they did, but it was not something which was sustaining itself. How we've handled this whole issue is, by continuously keeping in touch with our guests. We have been on call with people. We've been informing them. We've been making sure that they, our chefs have been actually online with the guests and, taking orders, telling them, helping them over the phone with their, with the cooking. So our chef goes online and does a cooking session based on the request of the guest. Post which now, over the last 1 month, when we've seen the guests coming in, there have been staycations also. So we have seen, a complete kind of a cycle before the new lockdown hit us, which was a few days back, which is a week long. I have spoken to my team, and, what we have decided is to make it sure that we over communicate to the guests. There are a lot of things which guests don't know. Because of the size of the team in the hotel, it's not really a full-fledged hotel. One restaurant operational, F&B, in terms of rooms, if they're coming here, they want to know what exactly are we doing, how are we keeping them safe. And of course, it's extremely important that we get in touch with them and explain to them what are the services, how things are going to be. And that's how we've been working around with the guests. One thing, which is quite interesting, which we saw, and maybe, it really works on the topic, which is the touchless. While we as a hotel, and we've seen this whole thing now for the last 40 days of opening, while we as a hotelier, we go extremes, and we've always been like that. As a hotelier, you would have a very hospitable outlook, but when it came to your back-end processes, you were always very clinical. Yeah. And that is what has happened. We've become very clinical about the COVID situation, and we want to provide the safest scenario to our guests. However, it's not the same thing with the guests. They come back expecting that, the things are going to be the same. You're walking into a JW, or you're walking into an ITC, or you're walking into a Hyatt, you expect a certain kind of vibrance. And when they don't find that, there is a sense of, you walk into a hotel for fun and, for a lifestyle. choice, and not really just because you only want to, stay in the room. And that's quite interesting, because there were people who would, care about and would be extreme about, about how the health and hygiene was being taken care. And some of them really didn't really care. Can I also pitch in? If you read Dare to Dream, Mr. Executive Chairman
Rai Bahadur.
Bahadur, in 1944, during the World War, he converted the the Oberoi Grand into a barracks,
Yes.
and that's how he earned his title. I guess it's the similar situation. We'll have to find newer ways. The stigma was there. 3 months back, it was very difficult for us to digest the fact that, we can live with COVID. Should we let people come into the hotel? All kinds of things were going in our minds. And today we are taking, institutional quarantine business. There are some hotels who are already become COVID care centers. They are attached to hospitals too. I guess it's all about running the ship at the end of the day.
Sure.
I would like to add up. I think it's also about the economics of it. At the end of the day, if you're running a hotel and you're already serving guests in the hotel, then you have you're operational, and you don't need to put in extra. Unfortunately, for a lot of these freestanding restaurants, even if they're highly reputed, it's very difficult for them to look at the the overheads costs, and also to get in the workforce, because right now the situation is that, in spite of the fact that people are wanting to open the restaurants, the workforce has vanished. I think it's also about the privacy issues. I'm not very sure if that is going to be a norm. However, like what Marriott is doing with the mobile check-ins, so you get stuff in your mobile and you can use that. I'm not sure if the privacy laws across the countries will allow a facial recognition or database to be stored across, in any way.